video will give the basic understanding of users and groups within the Horizon Admin Center client. First, we'll need to access the Admin Center client from the desktop icon. Log in with the appropriate credentials. Once logged into Admin Center, you'll be greeted with the Horizon home page. There are two simple ways to get to the Users section within the Admin Center client. Directly from the home page itself, you'll find a link under the Recommended Settings tab. You can also find a quick link on the sidebar over here on the left-hand side of the screen, which will bring you to the same location. Once accessed, you'll notice that this section is comprised into two different segments, Users and User Groups. User groups allow multiple individuals to become part of a group where they can obtain their privilege set. Let's begin by creating a group. Now at first glance, you'll notice that there are three default categories that are currently available for use: administrators, supervisors, and operators. Each one of them have their own privileges associated with them. You can get a basic understanding by looking at the description section. For more information, you can click on each one of these and view the privileges that have been assigned to each one of these. We can begin by creating a custom group by clicking on the Add User Group button up at the top of the screen, defining a name for the user group that we're going to be creating. If a PTZ priority needs to be assigned, it can be assigned here in the box, and all the relevant user rights and privileges can be assigned down here under the Privilege tab by simply placing a check mark next to the operation that you'd like to grant access to. For instance, if the users in the guards group needed to have control of the PTZ, I can choose to allow all the privileges in this section or specific privileges by just checking each individual field. As you'll scroll down, you'll find many other available privileges that you can choose to allow access to. Next, on the right hand side of the screen, we'll need to determine what cameras the individuals in this group will have access to. You'll notice by default that all the cameras are selected in the Viewable Cameras section. This means that the individuals in this group will have access to all these cameras by default. You can pick and choose the individual cameras by sliding them back and forth in between the two columns. I can highlight the garage camera, slide it over to the right hand side of the screen, which will remove it from the Viewable Cameras section. Another available option is the automatically allowing viewed newly added cameras to the system. If the guards will have access to all the cameras and all future cameras that will be added to the system, you may want to leave this box checked in order to expedite the process of viewing cameras in the future. However, if you wanted to have more control over the system and who views what cameras, you may uncheck this box and then go through your created user groups later on to pick and choose which cameras will be added to those groups when they become part of the system. Once all your settings have been adjusted, simply click on the Save Disk and it will update the settings. You'll now notice that there's an additional group located in our user group section. The next step is to create a user in the system. Go ahead and click on the User section up here at the top and add an additional user to the system by clicking the Add User button. This gives you the ability to assign information like the first name, a username, a password that you'd like the individual to use, confirm that password, what group they're going to be part of, which we can simply choose that new group that we've created here, the guard group, an email address and mobile phone number, which are completely optional, but if you'd like to add them, you may always add that information in here. You can also add an image for the user by clicking on the Browse button and navigating to the location of where your pictures are stored. I can find my image, click on the Open button, and you see that it will now assign this image to the user account. Once the information has been completed, simply click on the Save Disk. As always, once completing these steps, it's always a good idea to test out the user privileges that you've assigned to the individual to ensure proper requirements are met. Additional information on user groups and users within the system can be found in the Help Guide in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. By clicking on the Help Desk, this will bring you directly to the Users section within the Help Guide. Thank you, and be on the lookout for additional training videos brought to you by DVTEL's TCX Training Department.